Rise from Nothing, the story of Rami. Welcome everyone. Today I want to tell you a story, a real kind of story. The kind of story that stays with you forever. The kind of story that changes how you see the world. The kind of story that makes you believe that anything is possible. So sit back, get comfortable, and listen carefully. Because this is not just a story. This is a lesson about pain and strength, a lesson about losing everything and building it all back. A lesson about the human spirit and how powerful it truly is. This is the story of a young man named Rami, a boy who grew up with nothing, a boy who lost everything, a boy who the world forgot, but a boy who refused to forget himself. Chapter 1. The Boy with Empty Pockets. Rami was born in a small house on the edge of a poor neighborhood. The house had 2 rooms, one room for sleeping, one room for everything else. The walls were thin, the roof leaked when it rained, the floor was cold concrete. There was no hot water, no washing machine, no television, just 4 walls and a family trying to survive. Rami's father was a construction worker. He worked 12 hours a day carrying heavy bags of cement and laying bricks in the hot sun. His hands were rough and cracked. His back was always in pain, but he never complained. He would come home every evening, tired and dusty, and he would sit on the floor with Rami and his 2 younger siblings, a sister named Noor and a brother named Sami. He would tell them stories about brave heroes, stories about kings and warriors, stories about people who came from nothing and built everything. Rami's mother was a quiet woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. She cooked, cleaned, washed clothes by hand, and took care of the children. She never went to school, but she was the wisest person Rami ever knew. She would say things like, "Rami, the sun does not ask for permission to shine, it just shines. You do the same. Shine, my son. No matter what happens, just shine." They were poor, very poor, but they were happy. Because they had love. They had each other. And for Rami that was enough. He did not know they were poor. He did not compare himself to other children. He did not feel sorry for himself. He just lived. He played in the street with his friends. He went to school. He helped his mother with the house. He watched his father work and dreamed of one day being strong like him. But life had other plans for Rami. Life was about to teach him a lesson that no school could ever teach. A lesson about loss. A lesson about pain. A lesson about growing up too fast. Chapter 2. The day everything changed. Rami was 14 years old. It was a Tuesday. He remembered it was a Tuesday because on Tuesdays his school let out early. He was walking home with his friends, laughing about something silly, kicking a ball down the street. The sun was shining, the air was warm, everything seemed normal, everything seemed fine. When Rami turned the corner to his street, he saw something that made his heart stop. There were people standing outside his house. Many people, neighbors, relatives, strangers. Some of them were crying. Some of them were holding each other. And standing in the middle of all of them was his mother. Her eyes were red. Her hands were shaking. She was holding Noor and Sami close to her body, as if she was trying to protect them from something invisible. Rami dropped his school bag and ran. He ran to his mother and grabbed her arm. "Mama, what happened? What is wrong? Where is Baba?" His mother looked at him, and in that look, Rami saw everything. He saw the answer before she said a single word. His father was gone. A wall at the construction site had collapsed. His father was underneath it. They took him to the hospital, but it was too late. He was already gone. Rami did not cry that day, not because he was strong, but because he was in shock. His brain could not process what had happened. His father, the man who told him stories every night, the man who carried bags of cement on his broken back so his children could eat, the man who smiled even when he was in pain, was gone. Forever. That night, Rami lay on the floor where his father used to sit. He looked at the ceiling, and for the first time in his life, he felt truly alone. He was 14 years old, and the world had just shown him how cruel it could be. Chapter 3. The weight of responsibility. The days after his father's death were the hardest days of Rami's life. The construction company gave the family a small amount of money. It was barely enough for 2 months of rent. After that, there was nothing. No income, no savings, no help. Rami's mother tried to find work. She cleaned houses, she washed clothes for neighbors, she sewed clothes for a tailor. But it was not enough. The money was never enough. Food was getting harder to find, the rent was piling up, the landlord was getting impatient. One night, Rami heard his mother crying in the kitchen. She was sitting at the table counting coins. There were only a few. She was trying to figure out how to feed 3 children with coins that could barely buy bread. She did not know Rami was watching. She did not know he could hear her. That night, something changed inside Rami. He was not a child anymore. He could not be a child anymore. His mother needed help. His sister and brother needed food, and he was the oldest. He was the man of the house now, whether he wanted to be or not. The next morning, Rami did not go to school. He went to the street. He walked for hours, looking for something, anything, that could earn him money. And then he saw it. Plastic bottles. Everywhere. On the ground. In trash cans. In the gutter. People threw them away like they were worthless. But Rami knew that a recycling center would pay for them. Not a lot, but something. So Rami started collecting bottles. He walked through streets and alleys, picking up every bottle he could find. He filled bags with them, big bags. He carried them on his back to the recycling center, and at the end of his first day, he earned a tiny amount of money. It was not much, but it was something. It was bread for his family. It was milk for his little brother. It was the first money Rami had ever earned, and it felt like $1 million. Chapter 4. The Car Washer. For 3 months, Rami collected bottles. Every day, rain or shine. He walked miles carrying heavy bags. His hands were cut from the glass and metal. His back ached, his feet hurt. But he never stopped. Because every bottle was food on the table. Every bottle was another day his family survived. One day, while Rami was walking through a wealthy neighborhood collecting bottles, he saw a man washing his car in the driveway. The man was struggling. He was old and the car was big. Rami walked up to him and said, "Sir, can I help you wash your car? I will do a good job, I promise." The man looked at Rami. He saw a thin boy with dusty clothes and tired eyes, but a strong voice. He said, "Okay, how much?" Rami thought for a moment. He had no idea how much to charge. So he said, "Whatever you think is fair." Sir, Rami washed that car like it was the most important thing in the world. He scrubbed every inch. He cleaned the tires. He wiped the mirrors. He polished the windows. He made that car shine like it was brand new. The man watched him with surprise. When Rami was finished, the man gave him money. More money than Rami had ever earned in a single day. And then he said something that changed Rami's life. He said, "You are a hard worker, kid. Come back next week. I will tell my neighbors about you." And he did. The next week, Rami washed 3 cars. The week after that, 5. The week after that, 10. Word spread through the neighborhood. The boy who washes cars like they are his own. People liked Rami because he was honest, hard-working and polite. He never complained. He never asked for more than he deserved. He just did excellent work and let the results speak for themselves. Within a few months, Rami was earning more money washing cars than he had ever earned collecting bottles. He could buy food for his family. He could pay part of the rent. He could even buy school supplies for Noor and Sami. Life was still hard, but it was getting better. One car at a time. Chapter 5. The Restaurant. One of Rami's car washing clients was a man named Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan owned a small restaurant in the center of the city. It was nothing fancy, just a small place with 10 tables and a kitchen in the back. But it was always busy because Mr. Hassan made the best food in the neighborhood. One day, after Rami finished washing Mr. Hassan's car, Mr. Hassan said, "Rami, you are too smart to be washing cars forever. How would you like to work in my restaurant? I need someone to clean the dishes and mop the floors. It is not glamorous work, but it is indoors. And you will eat for free." Rami said yes immediately. Free food meant more money saved for his family. And working indoors meant he would not be standing in the rain or the burning sun. So Rami became a dishwasher at Mr. Hassan's restaurant. He washed dishes, hundreds of them, every day. Plates, cups, pots, pans, spoons, forks, knives. He mopped the floors, he took out the trash, he carried supplies from the storage room. He did every job that nobody else wanted to do, and he did it with a smile, because he was grateful. Grateful for the opportunity, grateful for the food, grateful for a roof over his head during the hot afternoons. But Rami did not just wash dishes. He watched. He watched the cooks. He watched how they chopped the onions, how they seasoned the meat, how they stirred the sauce, how they timed the cooking. He absorbed everything, like a sponge. He memorized recipes just by watching. He learned techniques just by observing. And at night, when the restaurant was closed and everyone had gone home, Rami would stay behind and practice. He would take the leftover ingredients and try to recreate what the cooks had made. Most of the time, he failed. The food was too salty, too dry, too burned. But he kept trying, night after night, failure after failure. Until one night, something magical happened. Mr. Hassan came back to the restaurant late one evening because he had forgotten his keys. When he walked into the kitchen, he found Rami standing at the stove cooking. The kitchen smelled incredible. Mr. Hassan walked over and tasted the food. He looked at Rami with wide eyes and said, "Rami, who taught you to cook like this?" Rami smiled and said, "You did, sir. I watched you every day." From that day on, Mr. Hassan started teaching Rami properly. He taught him how to cook, how to season, how to present food beautifully on a plate, how to balance flavors, how to cook with love. Rami was a quick learner. Within a year, he went from washing dishes to cooking meals, from mopping floors to creating recipes, from the back of the restaurant to the heart of it. Chapter 6. The Dream is Born. Rami worked at Mr. Hassan's restaurant for 3 years. During those 3 years, he went from dishwasher to cook to head cook. He created new dishes that became favorites among the customers. People started coming to the restaurant specifically for Rami's cooking. They would say, "Give me whatever the young chef made today." And Rami would smile from behind the kitchen door, listening to their compliments, feeling something he had not felt in a long time: pride. But something else was growing inside Rami, a dream. A dream that started small but grew bigger every day. He wanted his own restaurant, his own place, a place where he could cook for people, a place where he could create, a place where he could build something that was truly his. He told Mr. Hassan about his dream one evening after the restaurant closed. Mr. Hassan smiled and said, "Rami, I have been waiting for you to say that. I knew from the first day you started cooking that you were not meant to work for someone else forever. You have a gift, and that gift deserves its own home." Mr. Hassan did something that Rami never expected. He gave Rami money, not a lot, but enough. Enough for a start. He said, "Consider this an investment, not a gift. When your restaurant is successful, and I know it will be, you can pay me back." Rami tried to refuse, but Mr. Hassan insisted. He said, "I had someone who helped me when I was young. Now it is my turn to help you. One day, it will be your turn to help someone else. That is how the world works." We lift each other up. Rami hugged Mr. Hassan and cried. For the first time in years, he cried. Not because of sadness, because of gratitude, because of hope, because someone believed in him, someone saw his potential, someone gave him a chance. Chapter 7. The Food Cart. Rami could not afford a restaurant, not yet, but he could afford a food cart, a small wooden cart on wheels with a tiny cooking area and a sign that said Rami's Kitchen. It was not much. It was simple. It was humble. But it was his. He set up his cart on a busy corner near the market. He cooked the dishes he had learned from Mr. Hassan, plus his own recipes. He put everything he had into every plate. Every grain of rice was cooked with love. Every piece of bread was baked with care. Every spice was measured with precision. He treated every customer like they were the most important person in the world. The first day, he had 3 customers. The second day, 5. The third day, 10. By the end of the first month, people were lining up at his cart. The food was that good. Word spread fast. People told their friends. Friends told their families. Families told their neighbors. Everyone was talking about the kid with the food cart who cooked like a master chef. Rami worked 16 hours a day. He woke up at 4 in the morning to buy fresh ingredients from the market. He prepared everything by hand. He cooked all day. He cleaned all night. He counted his money at midnight and fell asleep at 1 in the morning. Then he woke up at 4 and did it all over again. His mother was worried. She said, "Rami, you are working too hard. You need to rest." Rami smiled and said, "Mama, I am not working. I am building." There is a difference. When you work, you get tired. When you build, you get excited. After 6 months with the food cart, Rami had saved enough money to rent a small space, a tiny room with a kitchen and 4 tables. Not a restaurant. Not yet. But a step closer. He was getting there, one day at a time, one plate at a time, one customer at a time. Chapter 8, The Fire. Everything was going well. Too well, Rami thought sometimes. He should have known that life was about to test him again, because life always tests the ones who dare to dream. It happened on a Thursday night. Rami was at home sleeping when his phone rang. It was his neighbor who lived near the market. He said, "Rami, come quickly. There is a fire." Rami ran through the streets in his bare feet. When he arrived at the market, he saw it. His food cart, his tiny kitchen, his sign that said Rami's Kitchen. Everything was on fire. The flames were high, the heat was intense, the smoke was thick and black. Firefighters were trying to put it out. But it was too late. By the time the fire was out, there was nothing left. Just ashes and twisted metal and the burnt remains of everything Rami had built. Rami stood there, in his bare feet, in the middle of the night, looking at the ashes of his dream, and for the first time since his father died, he fell to his knees. He put his face in his hands, and he cried. He cried for the money he had lost. He cried for the months of hard work that were gone. He cried for the dream that was burning in front of his eyes. His mother came and sat beside him. She held his hand. She did not say anything for a long time. Then she said softly, "Rami, do you remember what your father used to say? He used to say, 'The storm can knock down the tree, but it cannot kill the roots. Your roots are strong. My son, stronger than any fire, you will grow again.'" Rami did not respond. He could not. The pain was too heavy. The loss was too great. He felt like everything he had worked for was gone, like God was punishing him, like the universe did not want him to succeed. Why? Why does this keep happening to me? What did I do wrong? Chapter 9. The Darkness. The weeks after the fire were the darkest weeks of Rami's life. He did not eat. He did not sleep. He did not talk. He sat in the corner of his small house and stared at the wall. His mother tried to reach him. His sister and brother tried to cheer him up. But Rami was somewhere else. He was in a dark place inside his own mind. A place where hope did not exist. A place where dreams came to die. He thought about giving up. Really giving up. He thought about going back to washing cars, going back to collecting bottles, going back to being nobody. Because being nobody was safe. Being nobody meant nothing could be taken from you. If you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. And maybe that was easier. Maybe that was the answer. But then something happened. Something small. Something that Rami almost missed. His little brother Sami came into the room one evening. He was 8 years old now. He sat next to Rami on the floor and said, "Rami, when are you going to cook again? I miss your food. And I told all my friends at school that my brother has a restaurant. They want to come eat there." Rami looked at his little brother, this small boy with big eyes and total faith. Total belief. He believed in Rami more than Rami believed in himself. And in that moment, Rami realized something. He was not just building a restaurant for himself. He was building it for his family, for his mother who worked her whole life with nothing to show for it, for Noor who deserved a better future, for Sami who told his friends his brother had a restaurant, for his father who used to say, "One day, my son, you will do great things." Rami could not give up, not because he was strong, but because there were people counting on him, people who believed in him, people who needed him to keep going even when he wanted to stop. And for them, for their sake, he would get up one more time. Chapter 10. The Rebuild. The next morning, Rami woke up early. He washed his face. He put on his cleanest shirt. And he walked to Mr. Hassan's restaurant. When Mr. Hassan saw Rami, he did not ask questions. He did not say, "I am sorry." He did not give pity. He just said, "Are you ready to work?" And Rami said yes. Rami went back to work at Mr. Hassan's restaurant. Not as a dishwasher this time, as a cook. He cooked during the day and saved every coin he earned. He did not spend money on anything except the absolute essentials. Food for his family, rent, nothing else. He lived like a monk. Every extra coin went into a jar labeled Rami's Kitchen. He also did something else. He started cooking food at home and selling it to neighbors. He made meals in the evening, and his mother and sister would deliver them to families in the neighborhood. It started small. 5 meals a day. Then 10. Then 20. Then 50. People loved his food. They ordered every day. Some families ordered for every meal. After 6 months of saving and selling, Rami had enough money to start again. Not a food cart this time. A real space. A real kitchen. Real tables. Real chairs. A real sign above the door. Rami's Kitchen. He found a small shop on a quiet street. It was not in the best location. It was not big. It was not fancy. But it was his. He painted the walls himself. He built the tables himself. He made the sign himself. He put everything he had into that small space. Not just money. His heart, his soul, his dreams, his pain, his hope. All of it went into those 4 walls. And when the doors opened for the first time, Rami stood at the entrance and looked at what he had built. From ashes. From nothing. From the bottom. And he whispered to himself, "Baba, I did it. Your son has a restaurant." Chapter 11. The restaurant grows. The first month was slow. Not many customers came. The street was quiet. The location was not great. Rami was worried. He was running out of money. The rent was due. The supplies cost money. And the customers were not coming. But Rami did not panic. He remembered what his mother said. The farmer does not dig up the seed because it has not grown yet. He waters it and waits. So Rami watered his business. He put signs around the neighborhood. He gave free samples to people on the street. He asked every customer to tell their friends. He made every meal so good that people could not forget it. And slowly the customers came. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, then 5, then 10, then 20. Within 3 months, Rami's Kitchen was full every evening. People were waiting outside for a table. They were calling ahead to reserve seats. They were bringing their families, their friends, their colleagues. The food was incredible. But it was not just the food. It was the feeling. When you walked into Rami's Kitchen, you felt like family. You felt welcome. You felt loved. Because Rami treated every person who walked through his door like they were a guest in his home. The restaurant grew. Rami hired 2 cooks, then 3, then a waiter, then 2 waiters. He expanded the menu. He added new dishes. He created a special dessert named after his mother. He named a sandwich after Sami. He put a picture of his father on the wall with the words, "For the man who taught me that hard work is the answer to everything." Rami paid back Mr. Hassan every coin, and when he tried to give more, Mr. Hassan refused. He said, "Rami, the only payment I want is your promise. Promise me that one day, when a young person comes to you with nothing but a dream, you will help them the way I helped you." Rami shook his hand and said, "I promise." Chapter 12. The lesson of Rami's life. Today, Rami's Kitchen is not just one restaurant, it is 3. 3 restaurants in 3 different locations. Rami employs over 40 people. Many of them are young people from poor backgrounds. Young people like Rami once was. Young people with empty pockets but full hearts. Young people who just need someone to believe in them. Rami's mother no longer washes clothes by hand or cleans other people's houses. She sits in the best seat at Rami's restaurant every Friday evening, eating her favorite meal, surrounded by her children and grandchildren, smiling the smile of a woman who knows that her suffering was not for nothing, that her prayers were answered, that her son became the man his father always knew he would be. Noor is in college now. She is studying to become a doctor. Rami pays for her education. He says, "My sister will not clean houses. My sister will heal people." Sammy works at the restaurant on weekends. He is learning to cook just like his big brother. He still tells his friends, "My brother has a restaurant." But now, when they come to eat, they do not doubt him anymore. And Rami is still the first person to arrive at the restaurant every morning. He still checks every plate before it goes to a customer. He still talks to every guest. He still cooks on busy nights when the kitchen needs help. He has not changed. He is still the boy from the poor neighborhood, the boy who collected bottles, the boy who washed cars, the boy who lost his father at 14, the boy whose food cart burned to the ground, the boy who fell to his knees in the ashes and cried. But he is also the boy who got back up, the boy who refused to stay down, the boy who kept going when everything inside him wanted to stop, the boy who proved that where you start does not determine where you finish, the boy who showed the world that with enough hard work, enough heart, and enough belief, anything is possible. Chapter 13. What Rami wants you to know. If Rami were sitting in front of you right now, this is what he would say. He would look you in the eyes and say this: "I am not special. I am not a genius. I am not talented. I am just a boy who refused to give up. A boy who had every reason to quit, but chose not to. A boy who turned his pain into power and his struggle into strength. If I can do it, you can do it. If a boy who collected plastic bottles can build a restaurant, you can build your dream. If a boy who lost his father at 14 can become successful, you can overcome your challenges. If a boy whose business burned to the ground can rebuild, you can survive whatever setback you are facing. Stop telling yourself that you cannot. Stop telling yourself that you are not enough. Stop telling yourself that your situation is too hard. I have been where you are. I have felt what you feel. I have cried the tears you are crying. And I am telling you, it gets better, but only if you keep going. Only if you refuse to quit. Only if you get up one more time than you fall down. Your roots are strong, stronger than you know. The storm can knock you down. The fire can burn everything you built. The world can throw its worst at you, but it cannot kill your roots. And as long as your roots are alive, you can grow again. You can bloom again. You can rise again. That is the story of Rami, a boy who rose from nothing, a boy who built something from ashes, a boy who proved that the human spirit is stronger than any fire, any loss, any pain, any setback. And his story is not over, because stories like this never end. They just keep growing, one chapter at a time, one meal at a time, one dream at a time. If this story touched your heart, if you feel something burning inside you right now, if Rami's journey inspired you to keep going, then please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Share this video with someone who is going through a hard time. Someone who needs to hear that it is possible to rise from nothing. Someone who needs to know that their story is not over yet. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And remember, no matter where you are right now, no matter how bad things seem, no matter how many times you have fallen, you can rise. You can rebuild. You can begin again. Just like Rami. From nothing, from ashes, from the bottom, all the way to the top. I believe in you. Now go and build your story.